Hello there, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. Tonight we leave behind the familiar glow of stars and planets and drift outward into the vast quiet beyond them, into a region where distance stretches beyond imagination and silence feels complete. This is deep space, a place so calm and so expansive that even light takes years to cross it, and time itself seems to slow as the universe gently breathes. Before we begin, allow your body to settle. Let your shoulders soften and your jaw relax. Let your breathing find its own unforced rhythm. There is nothing you need to do right now and nowhere you need to go. Whatever belonged to today can fade into the background, becoming quieter with each breath you take. Deep space is not empty in the way we usually imagine. It is full of space itself, wide and open and patient. Between the stars and galaxies lies a calm so deep that motion becomes almost imperceptible. Temperatures fall toward absolute stillness. Sound disappears completely. Even particles drift slowly, as if they're in no hurry to arrive anywhere at all. As we journey through this quiet expanse, we will explore the gentle science of deep space, how it shapes the universe, how it affects time and light, and why its vast silence feels so calming to the human mind. These are not facts meant to excite or overwhelm. They are facts meant to slow you down, to soften your thoughts, and to guide you gently toward rest. If you enjoy these calm explorations into the soft side of science, you're always welcome to subscribe and return whenever you need quiet curiosity or peaceful sleep. But for now, allow your mind to drift outward, far beyond the noise of the world, into the deep, endless calm of space. Let's begin. Deep space begins far beyond the last glow of stars, where the universe becomes so empty that even a single atom may travel for millions of years without touching another. In these vast regions, matter is spread so thin that motion itself feels optional. Nothing crowds anything else. There is no pressure, no compression, and no sense of closeness. This extreme openness creates a natural calm because the brain instinctively relaxes when nothing feels near or threatening. Deep space is not busy. It is spacious, patient, and endlessly quiet. Sound cannot exist in deep space because there is no air to carry vibrations. Even the most violent cosmic events happen in perfect silence. Stars can collapse, galaxies can merge, and shock waves can ripple outward, yet nothing is heard. This complete absence of sound creates one of the quietest environments known to exist. It is a silence so total that listening becomes unnecessary, allowing awareness to turn inward and settle without distraction. Light travelling through deep space does not rush. It moves at a constant speed, but the distances are so enormous that the journey becomes unimaginably long. Some light reaching Earth tonight began travelling before our planet even formed. During its passage, that light spreads and softens, losing intensity and becoming gentle. When we look into deep space, we are not seeing the present. We are receiving calm messages from an ancient universe that had all the time it needed to arrive. The temperature of deep space hovers just above absolute zero, the coldest state matter can reach. At this temperature, atomic motion slows almost to a stop. Heat does not circulate. Energy does not rush. Everything settles into near stillness. This extreme cold creates a physical environment where motion rests, mirroring the deep relaxation the body seeks during sleep, when internal activity gradually slows and quiets. Gravity in deep space becomes extremely gentle. Far from stars and planets, there is no strong pull in any direction. Objects drift freely, suspended without falling or rising. This balance creates a sensation similar to floating, where weight disappears and effort is no longer required. It is the same feeling the body experiences when fully relaxed, when muscles release and gravity seems to soften its hold. Time behaves calmly in deep space. Without strong gravity or rapid movement, time flows smoothly and evenly. There are no sudden changes to mark its passage. Moments blend into one another without urgency. This steady rhythm can feel comforting, reminding the mind that nothing needs to happen quickly and that rest does not interrupt anything important. Deep space is filled with a faint background energy left over from the earliest moments of the universe. This energy is uniform in every direction, unchanged for billions of years. It does not fluctuate or pulse. It simply exists, calm and consistent. This quiet presence adds to the feeling that deep space is stable and safe, a place where nothing sudden or chaotic occurs. Movement in deep space happens without friction. There is nothing to slow objects abruptly. Once something begins drifting, it can continue smoothly for millions of years. This uninterrupted motion creates a sense of grace, where energy is conserved and nothing struggles against resistance. It reflects a state where movement and rest exist together in harmony. The darkness of deep space is complete, but it is not harsh. It does not press inward or feel overwhelming. Instead, it provides a soft backdrop that allows light to appear gently rather than sharply. This darkness feels like a deep night without edges, inviting the mind to relax without needing to stay alert. Deep space reveals that the universe does not hurry. Its greatest changes unfold over billions of years. Nothing is late, nothing is early. Everything happens when it happens. This immense patience offers a calming perspective, allowing the mind to release pressure and gently drift toward rest. Deep space contains regions so far from stars that light has never meaningfully reached them. These places exist in a permanent, gentle darkness where nothing changes suddenly. There is no sunrise and no sunset, no flicker or glow arriving unexpectedly. The environment remains steady for millions of years at a time. This constant darkness is not threatening. It is stable and predictable, allowing the mind to rest without needing to adjust or stay alert. Between galaxies, matter becomes so sparse that even emptiness feels stretched. A single atom may drift alone for longer than human civilization has existed. There are no crowds of particles and no collisions waiting to happen. Everything has room to exist without interference. This vast spacing creates a sense of openness that feels calming, because nothing presses in and nothing demands attention. In deep space, there is no natural sense of direction. There is no up or down, no forward or backward in the familiar way. Without nearby objects to provide reference, orientation loses importance. This lack of direction can feel freeing, allowing the mind to stop tracking position and simply exist without needing to locate itself. Light traveling through deep space slowly loses energy as the universe expands. This stretching of light shifts its color gently toward longer wavelengths, softening its intensity. Over billions of years, bright radiation becomes calm and faint. What reaches us is light that has been quietly transformed by time itself, carrying a sense of patience and distance that naturally slows the mind. Deep space allows long periods where almost nothing happens at all. Not every region is active or dramatic. Many areas remain unchanged for vast spans of time. This stillness is not emptiness. It is a pause written into the structure of the universe. These quiet intervals show that existence does not require constant activity to remain meaningful. Without atmosphere or weather, deep space never experiences sudden changes. There are no storms forming unexpectedly, and no shifts in pressure or temperature to respond to. Conditions remain stable for ages. This predictability creates an environment where nothing needs monitoring, helping the nervous system release its instinct to stay alert. Deep space holds ancient particles that have traveled freely since the earliest moments of the universe. These particles have moved undisturbed for billions of years, following smooth paths without resistance. Their long journeys reflect a universe where movement does not require effort and where time itself is unhurried. The vast emptiness of deep space allows energy to disperse evenly. There are no sharp concentrations and no intense contrasts. everything spreads out slowly until balance is reached. This gradual equalization creates a sense of calm equilibrium, where extremes fade and everything settles into quiet harmony. Deep space contains no familiar landmarks. Without planets, stars, or structures nearby, the mind cannot anchor itself visually. This lack of reference can feel soothing, allowing thoughts to loosen and drift without needing to attach to anything specific. Deep space quietly teaches that stillness is not the absence of life. It is a state where life unfolds gently, without noise or urgency. The universe continues expanding and evolving even in its quietest regions. This understanding can help the listener feel comfortable resting, knowing that calm does not stop anything important. Deep space stretches so far that even the idea of distance begins to dissolve. When galaxies are separated by millions of light years, the concept of far no longer carries urgency. Nothing is expected to cross these gaps quickly. Space itself becomes the dominant presence, vast and patient, offering a sense of openness that allows the mind to relax into scale rather than resist it. In deep space, light does not arrive all at once. It thins as it travels, spreading itself across enormous distances until it becomes gentle and faint. By the time it reaches us, it carries the calm of its long journey. This softened light feels less like illumination and more like a quiet presence, reminding the mind that even brightness can arrive peacefully. The expansion of the universe makes deep space slowly stretch over time. Distances between galaxies increase gently, without force or sound. This expansion is steady and calm, unfolding without urgency. Nothing rushes outward. Everything simply allows space to become more spacious, reinforcing the feeling that there is always room to breathe. Deep space contains regions where gravity from all directions nearly balances out. In these places, objects feel almost no pull at all. They float in quiet equilibrium, suspended in a natural state of rest. This balance mirrors the feeling of deep physical relaxation, when the body no longer feels drawn by effort or tension. Because deep space lacks atmosphere, light remains sharp only at its source. As it moves away, it does not scatter wildly. Instead, it fades smoothly into darkness. This gentle fading creates a soft visual experience, much like watching a distant candle dim slowly rather than extinguish suddenly. In the emptiest regions of deep space, temperature remains remarkably constant. There are no sudden shifts or fluctuations. This stability creates an environment that never surprises. For the nervous system, predictability equals safety, allowing awareness to soften without needing to remain vigilant. Deep space allows objects to exist without friction. Once motion begins, it continues quietly, uninterrupted. There is no resistance to overcome and no energy wasted. This effortless continuation reflects a state of flow, where movement does not require strain, encouraging the listener to release effort in both body and mind. The silence of deep space is not broken by echoes or background noise. It is complete and continuous. Without sound, attention naturally turns inward. This inward drift mirrors the mental state that appears as sleep approaches, when external awareness fades and inner calm grows stronger. Deep space contains particles that have never interacted with anything since the universe was young. These particles drift alone through darkness, untouched and unchanged. Their solitary journeys are peaceful rather than lonely, showing that isolation in deep space is simply another form of calm existence. Deep space gently demonstrates that rest is not an interruption to the universe. It is the universe's default state. Most of existence unfolds slowly, quietly, and without urgency. This realization allows the listener to release pressure, trusting that sleep is not something to force, but something that naturally arrives when effort fades. Deep space contains regions where even cosmic radiation becomes faint and sparse. In these areas, energy drifts slowly and evenly, without sudden spikes or bursts. Nothing flashes or pulses unexpectedly. This low-energy environment feels naturally calming, as if the universe itself has lowered its activity level and settled into a long, quiet pause. Far from stars, deep space experiences no true shadows because there is nothing nearby to block light. Instead, darkness exists evenly in all directions. This uniform darkness removes contrast and sharp edges, creating a visual softness that allows the mind to relax without needing to focus or adjust. Deep space allows time to pass without markers. There are no days, no nights, no seasons, and no cycles to count. Without these reference points, moments blend together smoothly. This timelessness can feel deeply soothing, helping the listener release the habit of measuring time and simply exist within it. In deep space, the laws of physics remain calm and consistent everywhere. Nothing suddenly changes behavior. Gravity, light, and energy follow the same gentle rules across vast distances. This consistency creates a sense of reliability, allowing the nervous system to rest without anticipating surprises. Deep space is where motion often feels optional. Objects continue drifting because they already were, not because they need to go anywhere. This lack of intention creates a peaceful atmosphere, reminding the listener that movement does not always require purpose and that stillness is equally valid. The emptiness of deep space allows signals to fade completely. Radio waves, light, and energy weaken as they travel, eventually blending into the background. This fading removes sharp boundaries between presence and absence, creating a gentle transition that feels natural and calming. Deep space contains ancient matter that has remained unchanged for billions of years. Atoms that formed near the beginning of the universe still drift quietly through darkness today. This endurance without strain reflects a universe that knows how to exist patiently, without needing renewal or urgency. In deep space, there is no weather to track and no environment to predict. Conditions remain steady and unchanging for immense spans of time. This absence of environmental pressure allows awareness to soften, as nothing needs monitoring or adjustment. Deep space allows distance itself to act as a buffer. Events that occur far away lose their intensity long before they arrive. Even powerful radiation becomes gentle by the time it reaches another region. This natural buffering creates a feeling of safety, as nothing arrives suddenly or forcefully. Deep space quietly reveals that calm is not rare in the universe. It is the most common state. Most of existence unfolds slowly, silently, and without disturbance. Recognizing this can help the listener feel aligned with the universe itself, allowing sleep to arrive as a natural extension of cosmic stillness. Deep space allows gravity to weaken until it becomes almost imperceptible. Far from stars and galaxies, gravitational pull fades into a delicate suggestion rather than force. Objects drift without urgency, guided more by history than intention. This gentle environment mirrors the sensation of the body relaxing fully, when muscles release and weight seems to soften into the surface beneath you. In deep space, light travels uninterrupted for unimaginable distances. With nothing to scatter or absorb it, each photon moves quietly forward, holding its path with patience. By the time it reaches a distant observer, it carries the calm of a journey measured not in moments but in millions of years, inviting the mind to slow down and match its pace. Deep space contains vast regions where matter is so sparse that collisions are almost impossible. Particles pass one another silently, separated by immense distances. This absence of contact creates an atmosphere of peace, where nothing presses in, nothing interrupts, and everything is allowed to exist without interference. The darkness of deep space is not heavy or oppressive. It is soft and open, like a quiet room with the lights gently dimmed. Without visual clutter, awareness relaxes naturally, allowing the mind to drift inward the way it does just before sleep takes hold. Deep space offers perspective without pressure. From this scale, individual events lose sharp edges. Everything becomes part of a much larger pattern unfolding slowly. This widening view can ease anxious thoughts, reminding the listener that nothing needs immediate resolution in such a vast and patient universe. In deep space, energy disperses evenly over time. Bursts and flares soften as they travel, transforming intensity into calm continuity. This natural smoothing process mirrors how the mind settles as stimulation fades, guiding the body toward a state of rest without force. Deep space has no center of attention. Nothing demands focus. There is no single point to watch or follow. This absence of demand allows awareness to loosen its grip, making it easier for thoughts to slow and eventually dissolve. Deep space demonstrates that silence does not equal emptiness. Even in near vacuum, subtle activity continues quietly. Fields shift gently, particles drift, and space-time itself stretches slowly. This quiet activity reassures the listener that rest does not mean nothingness, but a softer way of being. Deep space holds the oldest light still travelling. Some of it began its journey shortly after the universe formed and continues moving today. This ancient light carries no urgency. It simply exists, offering a reminder that endurance can be calm and effortless. Deep space ultimately teaches that stillness is not fragile. It is stable, vast, and resilient. Nothing rushes to disturb it. Aligning with this stillness allows the mind to release effort and let sleep arrive naturally without needing to be invited or forced. Deep space allows distance to soften everything that happens within it. Even powerful cosmic events lose their sharpness as they travel outward, spreading gently until their energy becomes barely noticeable. This gradual softening creates an environment where nothing arrives suddenly, allowing awareness to remain relaxed and unguarded. In deep space, motion feels continuous rather than directional. Objects drift without clear destinations, guided only by subtle gravitational memories from long ago. This lack of urgency reflects a peaceful state where movement exists without pressure, encouraging the listener to release the need for purpose or progress. Deep space contains enormous regions where temperature remains almost perfectly stable. Without nearby stars to add heat or planets to reflect energy, the environment stays calm and predictable. This consistency helps the mind settle, as there are no extremes to anticipate or adjust to. The vast openness of deep space allows perspective to expand naturally. Thoughts that once felt heavy become small and distant when placed against such scale. This widening view can ease mental tension, making worries feel less immediate and more manageable. Deep space has no boundaries to press against. There are no walls, no edges, and no limits to encounter. This boundless quality can feel deeply reassuring, offering the sensation of freedom without movement and rest without confinement. In deep space, light and darkness coexist without conflict. Bright stars shine without disturbing the surrounding calm, and darkness holds space without overwhelming the light. This balance creates a visual harmony that mirrors emotional equilibrium, helping the listener feel centered and at ease. Deep space allows objects to remain unchanged for extraordinary lengths of time. Without friction, weather, or erosion, structures persist quietly. This endurance without struggle demonstrates a form of stability that does not require effort, reinforcing the idea that rest can be lasting and secure. The emptiness of deep space reduces sensory input to a minimum. With little to see, hear, or feel, the mind naturally begins to disengage from constant processing. This sensory quiet supports the transition into sleep, where awareness gently fades. Deep space moves according to rhythms too slow to feel. Expansion, drift, and gravitational influence unfold over millions of years. Aligning with these rhythms can help slow breathing and heart rate, guiding the body into deeper relaxation. Deep space quietly confirms that nothing needs to be controlled. The universe unfolds without supervision or intervention. Recognizing this can ease the listener's need to manage thoughts or outcomes, allowing sleep to arrive without resistance. Deep space allows vast silence to exist without interruption. There are no sudden changes, no unexpected signals, no sharp transitions. This uninterrupted quiet creates a sense of safety, allowing the mind to rest without scanning for what might come next. In deep space, even movement feels soft. Objects drift slowly, tracing paths shaped long ago by gravity. Nothing accelerates suddenly, nothing demands attention. This slow drifting mirrors the way thoughts begin to float as sleep approaches. Deep space carries a sense of deep order beneath its openness. Every particle follows simple, reliable laws that never rush and never hesitate. This quiet structure provides reassurance, reminding the listener that calm does not mean chaos, but balance. The darkness of deep space does not feel empty when understood. It is filled with fields, forces, and gentle motion that continue without noise. This hidden activity offers comfort, showing that stillness can be alive without being loud. Deep space gives distance the power to heal intensity. Powerful light becomes soft glow. Strong energy becomes gentle presence. Over time and distance, everything smooths itself naturally, offering a lesson in patience and release. In deep space, there is no rush toward outcomes. Events unfold without deadlines. This absence of urgency allows the mind to let go of timekeeping, encouraging the body to settle into its own natural rhythm. Deep space reveals how small vibrations fade into calm. Even the faint echoes of cosmic events dissolve quietly into the background. This gentle fading mirrors the way waking thoughts gradually lose clarity as sleep deepens. Deep space allows matter to exist without competition. Objects do not collide often, and when they do, it is part of a long, predictable dance. This peaceful coexistence reflects a world where nothing needs to struggle to belong. Deep space offers perspective without effort. Simply imagining its scale can soften emotional weight. Problems that once felt large begin to feel lighter, allowing the nervous system to relax naturally. Deep space ultimately reminds us that rest is woven into the universe itself. Calm is not something created or earned. It is already present, waiting quietly, ready to be joined whenever effort fades. Deep space contains regions where even gravity becomes a distant influence, barely shaping the paths of particles drifting through it. In these areas, matter moves according to gentle momentum rather than force, continuing quietly in directions set long ago. This creates an environment where motion feels remembered rather than driven, as if the universe itself is recalling its past rather than pushing toward a future. In deep space, light often travels alone for its entire existence. Some photons leave their source and never encounter another object before fading into the cosmic background. These solitary journeys are not empty or wasted. They are simply uninterrupted, showing how existence can be meaningful, even without interaction or recognition. Deep space allows temperature to hover close to absolute stability. With no nearby stars to warm it and no dense matter to hold heat, conditions remain nearly constant over immense spans of time. This thermal steadiness contributes to the sense that nothing needs to adjust or adapt in a hurry, reinforcing a feeling of quiet continuity. The vast separations in deep space mean that most objects never influence one another directly. Galaxies can exist peacefully side by side without collision, each following its own slow trajectory. This independence creates a universe where coexistence does not require interaction, allowing everything to remain undisturbed. Deep space holds ancient magnetic fields that stretch across enormous distances. These invisible structures guide particles gently, shaping motion without touch. Their presence is subtle and steady, reminding us that influence does not always need force to be effective. In deep space, matter often exists in its simplest forms. Single atoms drift freely, unbound to larger structures for millions of years. This simplicity creates a sense of purity, where existence is reduced to its most basic and enduring elements. Deep space allows energy to disperse evenly rather than accumulate. Over time, concentrated energy spreads outward, smoothing extremes into balance. This natural tendency toward equilibrium reflects a universe that favors steadiness over intensity. Deep space provides an environment where change happens gradually. Transformations occur over timescales so long that they feel almost imperceptible. This slow pace removes pressure from the concept of progress, allowing events to unfold without urgency. Deep space shows that darkness does not erase structure. Even in regions without light, patterns still exist, shaped by gravity and motion. These unseen arrangements continue quietly, proving that order does not depend on visibility. Deep space ultimately reveals that vastness itself can be stable. Despite its size and openness, it does not collapse into chaos. Instead, it maintains coherence through simple rules applied consistently across unimaginable distances. Deep space contains immense regions where matter forms delicate filaments, stretched thin across vast distances. These structures are shaped slowly by gravity, connecting galaxies like faint threads in a cosmic tapestry. Their presence shows that even in apparent emptiness, gentle organization quietly persists. In deep space, motion often follows curved paths rather than straight lines. Gravity bends trajectories subtly over time, guiding objects along smooth arcs instead of sharp turns. This graceful movement creates a sense of continuity, where nothing feels abrupt or forced. Deep space allows remnants of ancient stars to travel freely long after their sources have faded. Particles released billions of years ago continue drifting today, carrying quiet information about events that shaped the early universe. These travelers exist without urgency, simply continuing onward. Deep space reveals how scale transforms meaning. Distances so vast that light itself takes ages to cross them make individual moments feel softer and less rigid. This perspective gently reduces the weight of immediacy, encouraging a slower way of understanding change. In deep space, energy exchanges happen infrequently and gently. Without dense matter to amplify reactions, interactions remain subtle. This low interaction environment creates a natural calm where extremes rarely form. Deep space hosts faint background radiation that fills the universe evenly. This radiation is a quiet echo from an earlier era, still present everywhere at once. Its uniformity adds a sense of balance, as though the universe carries a steady, underlying tone. Deep space allows objects to remain isolated without instability. Separation does not cause collapse or disorder. Instead, distance itself becomes a stabilizing factor, allowing systems to exist independently without conflict. Deep space demonstrates how time can feel expansive rather than linear. Events separated by millions of years coexist through light and motion, overlapping gently in observation. This layering of moments creates a universe where past and present blend smoothly. Deep space contains regions where particles move so slowly that change becomes nearly unnoticeable. Motion continues, but at a pace that feels suspended. This slow drift gives the impression of stillness without complete pause. Deep space continues to expand while remaining coherent, allowing openness and structure to exist together. Its vastness does not weaken its order, showing that scale and stability can grow side by side. Deep space allows structures to form without crowding. Galaxies, clusters, and filaments grow slowly, leaving immense spaces between them. This spacing prevents congestion and conflict, creating a universe where expansion feels natural rather than chaotic. In deep space, light can overlap without interference. Photons from different sources pass through one another without collision, each continuing its journey uninterrupted. This peaceful coexistence shows how complexity can arise without disruption. Deep space preserves direction gently. Once an object begins moving, its path remains steady, unless influenced over long spans of time. This continuity gives motion a calm predictability, free from sudden shifts. Deep space reveals that absence can be informative. Empty regions help scientists understand where matter is not, shaping maps of the universe through contrast rather than presence. Even emptiness contributes quietly to knowledge. In deep space, gravity communicates across enormous distances without touch. Its influence travels smoothly, shaping motion without noise or effort. This invisible guidance feels subtle yet dependable. Deep space supports balance between isolation and connection. Objects remain separated, yet still belong to a shared structure governed by universal laws. Distance does not break coherence. Deep space contains particles that have never been part of planets, stars, or life. These particles exist independently, unchanged by complex systems, showing how simplicity can persist alongside complexity. Deep space allows cosmic patterns to repeat without urgency. Spirals, arcs, and clusters appear again and again, forming slowly and consistently. This repetition gives the universe a steady rhythm rather than a frantic pace. Deep space holds regions where observation itself becomes difficult. Light is faint, signals are weak, and detection requires patience. This teaches that understanding often arrives gradually, not instantly. Deep space continues to unfold without demanding attention. It expands, drifts, and evolves quietly, maintaining its vast structure through steady laws rather than dramatic action. Deep space allows matter and energy to exist without constant interaction. In many regions, particles travel for millions of years without encountering anything at all. This rare stillness creates an environment where existence is defined more by continuity than by reaction, offering a powerful sense of calm persistence. In deep space, direction loses importance. Without landmarks or reference points, movement becomes relative rather than purposeful. Objects drift without needing to arrive anywhere specific, showing that motion itself can be enough without destination. Deep space carries a subtle temperature that hovers just above absolute zero. This extreme cold is not harsh or biting, but quiet and uniform, creating an atmosphere where thermal activity slows to a near standstill and change becomes gentle. Deep space reveals that vast emptiness can still be structured. Invisible gravitational frameworks guide the formation of galaxies and clusters, shaping the universe quietly and patiently without visible effort. In deep space, light can travel so long that its source no longer exists by the time it is observed. What remains is a calm message from a past moment, arriving softly long after its origin has faded. Deep space allows stability without solidity. Many regions contain no solid objects at all, yet remain balanced and predictable due to the consistent laws that govern them. This shows that order does not always require form. Deep space contains immense voids, where density is so low that a single atom may occupy an area larger than a city. These voids remain peaceful and unchanged, emphasizing how stillness can exist on enormous scales. In deep space, expansion happens evenly in all directions. There is no central point pushing outward, only a gentle stretching that preserves harmony while increasing openness. Deep space allows patterns to emerge slowly. Structures take billions of years to form, growing without urgency and without collapse, reinforcing the idea that creation does not need speed. Deep space continues its quiet unfolding regardless of observation. Whether watched or ignored, it follows the same calm principles, offering a reminder that peace does not depend on attention. Deep space allows matter to follow paths shaped long before the present moment. Many drifting particles move according to gravitational influences that no longer exist, continuing quietly along routes set in the distant past. This lingering guidance creates a sense of continuity, where motion carries memory rather than urgency. In deep space, the absence of sound creates a complete sensory quiet. Without vibration or pressure, nothing echoes or interrupts. This absolute silence allows awareness to relax fully without the need to process external signals. Deep space demonstrates how scale reduces intensity. Even events of enormous power become gentle as distance increases, transforming bursts into soft backgrounds that fade naturally into calm. In deep space, light spreads thinly across vast distances, becoming evenly distributed rather than concentrated. This gentle diffusion removes harsh contrast, allowing brightness and darkness to blend smoothly. Deep space contains regions where matter has never clustered into stars or planets. These areas remain in a simple state, unchanged for billions of years, offering a glimpse into a quieter form of existence. Deep space shows that order does not require closeness. Systems remain stable despite enormous separations, guided by universal principles rather than proximity. Deep space allows cosmic structures to evolve without conflict. Galaxies interact rarely and gently, often passing without disruption, maintaining balance through distance. Deep space reveals that emptiness itself can shape structure. The placement of voids influences how matter organizes around them, proving that absence plays an active role in the universe. Deep space carries faint background energy that remains consistent everywhere. This uniform presence creates a subtle sense of connection across all regions, reinforcing calm continuity. Deep space continues to exist without acceleration or hesitation. Its changes unfold steadily, neither rushing forward nor resisting movement, maintaining a state of gentle persistence. Deep space allows existence without friction. In regions where matter is almost absent, there is nothing to slow motion or wear things down. Objects continue along gentle paths without resistance, as if the universe itself has learned how to move without effort. This frictionless state creates a feeling of ease where nothing is forced to stop or change abruptly. Deep space holds distances so large that cause and effect feel separated by time itself. An event may occur, yet its influence travels slowly, arriving long after the moment has passed. This delay softens impact, turning sharp events into calm signals by the time they are received. It is a universe that cushions its own intensity. Deep space offers a sense of openness that never closes in. There is always more room beyond what can be seen, more darkness beyond the faintest light. This endless expansion removes the feeling of confinement, allowing the mind to relax into the idea that nothing is pressing inward. Deep space reveals that motion does not require intention. Particles drift, photons travel, and fields shift without desire or goal. Movement exists simply because it began, not because it needs to arrive. This absence of purpose creates a peaceful rhythm that asks nothing from awareness. Deep space maintains calm through consistency. The same physical laws apply everywhere, from the emptiest void to the densest cluster. This reliability forms a quiet backbone beneath all motion, giving the universe a steady foundation that never wavers or surprises. Deep space contains regions where even time feels softened. Without strong gravity or rapid change, moments stretch evenly, making the passage of time feel less urgent and less demanding. This gentle flow allows awareness to drift without needing to track or measure. Deep space shows that light does not need to dominate darkness. Stars shine without overpowering the surrounding night, allowing illumination and shadow to coexist in balance. This harmony creates a visual calm where nothing competes for attention. Deep space carries ancient patterns that repeat without hurry. Spirals form, disperse, and form again over billions of years, following rhythms too slow to feel. These patterns reinforce the idea that creation does not need speed to be meaningful. Deep space offers solitude without isolation. Objects remain separated, yet still belong to the same vast structure. Distance does not sever connection. It simply allows space to exist between things without tension. Deep space continues unfolding quietly, guided by simple principles that do not require correction or control. Everything follows paths shaped by balance rather than force, creating a universe that remains calm not by effort but by nature. Deep space allows matter to exist without boundaries imposed by surfaces or edges. Without walls, ground, or ceilings, motion becomes fluid and unrestricted. Objects do not collide with limits but continue gently onward, creating a sense of freedom that feels both vast and peaceful. This openness can ease the mind, removing the feeling of being contained or constrained. Deep space holds regions where gravity from many distant sources overlaps gently, creating a soft balance rather than a strong pull. In these areas, movement feels guided rather than controlled. Objects respond slowly and smoothly, drifting along paths shaped by multiple influences instead of a single force. Deep space preserves ancient alignments that have remained unchanged for billions of years. Certain cosmic structures maintain their orientation across immense spans of time, quietly holding their shape. This stability offers reassurance that calm persistence can outlast dramatic change. Deep space allows energy to travel without decay for extraordinary distances. Some signals continue forward long after their origin has transformed or vanished. This quiet endurance gives energy a timeless quality, as though it carries patience within its motion. Deep space demonstrates that complexity can emerge without chaos. Vast systems form through gradual interactions, each step building calmly upon the last. Nothing needs to rush or overwhelm to create structure. Growth happens slowly, layer by layer. Deep space contains intervals where nothing measurable changes for immense periods. During these stretches, conditions remain nearly identical from moment to moment. This absence of fluctuation creates a sense of suspended calm, where time seems to pass without disturbance. Deep space allows darkness to act as a resting state rather than an absence. Without constant light, the environment feels settled and complete. Darkness does not erase presence, it simply allows space to remain undisturbed. Deep space reveals how distance can protect tranquility. Events occurring far away lose their intensity before they arrive, ensuring that disturbances rarely intrude. This natural buffering creates a universe where calm is preserved through separation. Deep space supports motion that feels remembered rather than driven. Objects continue along trajectories shaped by the distant past, moving gently without needing new direction. This continuity gives movement a soothing predictability. Deep space quietly reminds us that existence does not require observation. Stars, particles, and fields continue their calm unfolding whether noticed or not. This independence creates a reassuring sense that everything remains stable without needing attention. Deep space allows motion to continue without exhaustion. There is no surface to wear things down and no resistance to drain energy away. Objects travel gently, conserving their movement across vast distances, showing how persistence can exist without effort or strain. Deep space carries subtle variations in density that are almost impossible to detect. These slight differences shape the universe quietly, guiding matter over time without sudden change. This softness in structure creates a feeling of calm guidance rather than forceful direction. Deep space reveals how light and distance work together to soften perception. As light travels farther, it spreads and dims, losing sharpness until it becomes a gentle presence rather than a focal point. This gradual transformation encourages the mind to relax its focus. Deep space holds regions where matter has never condensed into stars or planets. These untouched areas remain in a simple state, drifting calmly through the universe without transformation. Their stillness reflects a form of existence that does not seek change. Deep space allows cosmic dust to drift freely for millions of years. Each tiny particle follows a quiet path shaped by faint gravitational influences, never colliding, never rushing. This slow drifting creates a sense of delicate motion suspended in calm. Deep space maintains balance through distance rather than strength. Objects remain stable because they're spaced apart, not because they are tightly bound. This separation creates harmony, showing that space itself can be a stabilizing force. Deep space demonstrates that expansion does not create disorder. As the universe grows larger, its structure remains intact. Galaxies continue their gentle dance, preserving balance even as distances increase. Deep space offers a rhythm too slow to perceive directly. Changes occur over time, scaled so long that motion feels nearly still. Aligning with this rhythm can help the listener feel grounded in patience rather than urgency. Deep space carries ancient momentum that continues quietly. Some movements began billions of years ago and have never needed correction. This continuity reflects a universe that trusts its own direction. Deep space exists in a state where nothing seeks attention. There are no signals demanding focus and no events competing for awareness. This absence of demand allows the mind to loosen naturally, making space for deeper calm. Deep space allows motion to feel gentle rather than directional. Without landmarks or destinations, drifting becomes a natural state instead of a journey. Objects move because they once began moving, not because they are meant to arrive. This soft continuation removes urgency and allows motion to feel calm and effortless. Deep space holds immense stretches where gravity is present but faint, like a distant memory rather than an active force. In these regions, influence is subtle and slow. Objects respond over vast periods of time, creating motion that feels thoughtful rather than reactive. Deep space reveals how light can exist without drama. Far from stars, illumination becomes rare and precious. When light appears, it does not overwhelm darkness. It gently coexists with it, creating a balanced scene where neither dominates the other. Deep space allows emptiness to act as insulation. Vast distances absorb energy and soften disturbance, ensuring that disruptions rarely travel far. This natural buffering protects calm, allowing most regions to remain undisturbed for immense lengths of time. Deep space contains clouds of gas so thin they appear almost imaginary. These clouds drift quietly, shaped by faint gravitational influences rather than force. Their slow movement feels more like breathing than motion, reinforcing a sense of gentle continuity. Deep space demonstrates that time does not need to feel linear. Light from different eras overlaps as it travels, allowing moments separated by billions of years to arrive together. This blending creates a universe where past and present feel softly connected. Deep space offers a sense of stability through repetition. Similar structures form again and again across vast distances, following the same quiet rules. This consistency provides reassurance that the universe favors balance and predictability. Deep space allows objects to exist without interaction. Many particles never meet another for their entire existence. This solitude is not isolating. It is simply peaceful, showing that presence does not require constant connection. Deep space holds motion that is so slow it feels almost still. Changes occur gradually, without sharp transitions. This gentle pace allows awareness to soften, mirroring the way thoughts slow when the mind relaxes. Deep space continues to expand while remaining calm. Growth happens without tension or urgency. Space becomes more spacious, not chaotic. This quiet expansion reinforces the idea that increase does not require strain. Deep space allows existence to unfold without resistance. There is nothing to push against and nothing to overcome. Motion continues gently, guided by quiet forces that do not announce themselves. This effortless continuation gives the universe a feeling of ease, as though everything is allowed to be exactly where it is. Deep space holds regions where the concept of direction fades entirely. Without nearby stars or structures, there is no clear sense of forward or backward. Orientation becomes meaningless, and movement feels symmetrical in every direction, creating a sense of complete openness. Deep space carries ancient stillness between moments of change. Long spans pass without noticeable events, allowing conditions to remain calm and undisturbed. This extended quiet teaches that stability does not need constant activity to exist. Deep space reveals how separation can create harmony. By keeping objects far apart, the universe prevents interference and conflict. Distance becomes a form of balance, allowing each system to remain peaceful within its own space. Deep space allows light to become memory. Photons traveling across billions of years arrive softened and quiet, carrying information without urgency. By the time they are observed, they feel less like signals and more like gentle reminders of distant moments. Deep space contains zones where matter thins to the point of near absence. In these regions, presence feels subtle rather than solid. This lightness of being removes heaviness from existence itself, creating a sensation of calm openness. Deep space shows that movement does not need acceleration. Once motion begins, it continues smoothly without needing additional energy. This steady flow mirrors a state of ease, where effort is no longer required to continue. Deep space maintains calm through predictability. The same physical principles apply everywhere, ensuring that nothing behaves unexpectedly. This consistency allows the universe to feel reliable and safe, even in its vastness. Deep space allows time to stretch gently. Without rapid change or strong gravity, moments pass evenly, without compression or distortion. This slow unfolding creates an atmosphere where nothing feels rushed. Deep space continues quietly, independent of observation or interpretation. It does not react to attention or absence. It simply remains vast and steady, carrying on through gentle motion and enduring balance. Deep space is so vast that distance loses its meaning. Between galaxies, there are stretches where a single particle might drift for millions of years without encountering another. Motion exists, but it is incredibly slow, almost suspended. This immense separation creates a natural quiet, a calm so complete that nothing presses in from any direction. It is a place where urgency disappears, and the idea of rushing no longer applies. In deep space, sound cannot travel at all. There is no air to carry vibrations, no medium to transmit noise. Explosions, collisions, and powerful events happen in absolute silence. This total absence of sound creates one of the quietest environments in existence, a stillness so complete that it feels soothing rather than empty. The universe continues its work without ever disturbing the silence. Light itself moves gently through deep space. Even at its incredible speed, it takes years, centuries, and sometimes billions of years to cross the distances between objects. As it travels, it spreads and softens, losing intensity. This slow journey means that what we see from Earth is often ancient light, carrying calm messages from a time long past. Temperatures in deep space fall close to absolute zero, where motion nearly stops. At this extreme cold, atoms slow until they barely move. Energy becomes minimal. This deep cold creates an environment of profound stillness where even heat rests. It is one of the calmest physical states the universe can offer. Deep space does not pull strongly in any one direction. Gravity there is gentle and balanced, allowing objects to drift freely without falling or rising. This weightless environment creates a sense of floating, where nothing presses down and nothing resists upward movement. It is a natural state of suspension that mirrors deep physical relaxation. Time behaves differently in deep space. Without strong gravity or rapid motion, time passes smoothly and evenly. There are no sharp changes, no sudden accelerations. Moments flow into one another quietly. This steady passage of time can feel comforting, allowing the mind to slow its own sense of urgency. Between galaxies, deep space is filled with faint radiation left over from the early universe. This background energy is uniform and gentle, the same in every direction. It acts like a soft cosmic hum, not heard but present everywhere. This quiet consistency adds to the feeling of stability and calm. Deep space allows objects to exist without interference. Stars, dust, and particles move without friction, without resistance. There is nothing to slow them abruptly or force them to change course. This freedom creates long, graceful paths that unfold over immense periods of time, reinforcing the idea that movement does not need effort. The darkness of deep space is not harsh. It is soft and complete, allowing light sources to stand out gently rather than sharply. This darkness does not overwhelm. Instead, it creates contrast that feels peaceful, much like a darkened room that invites sleep. Deep space reminds us that the universe is not rushed. Its largest changes happen over millions or billions of years. Nothing is expected to happen quickly. This immense patience can help the mind let go, releasing the pressure to think, plan or act, and allowing rest to arrive naturally. In deep space, motion often feels optional rather than necessary. Objects can remain drifting in the same gentle direction for millions of years without interruption. Nothing forces speed or sudden change. This unhurried movement creates an environment where stillness feels natural and safe, allowing the mind to release its need to stay alert. Deep space is filled with enormous regions where nothing noticeable happens for vast spans of time. These quiet intervals are not empty in a negative sense. They're calm pauses in the universe's rhythm, where nothing competes for attention. This absence of activity can feel deeply restful, offering the brain a place to settle without stimulation. The farther into deep space you travel, the less structured everything becomes. There are fewer stars, fewer signals, fewer interruptions. The universe gently fades into simplicity. This gradual reduction of complexity mirrors the mental state of falling asleep, when thoughts soften and awareness becomes less detailed. In deep space, light spreads so thin that it becomes almost indistinguishable from darkness. Brightness fades gently rather than suddenly. This slow blending of light into shadow creates an environment that feels soothing, much like twilight extending endlessly in every direction. Deep space contains particles that drift alone for lifetimes without interaction. These solitary journeys are peaceful rather than lonely. Each particle moves without urgency, untouched by friction or resistance. This quiet independence can feel comforting, suggesting that solitude does not need to feel empty or unsafe. Gravity in deep space is often so weak that objects barely influence one another. There is no pulling or pressure. Everything exists in balance. This absence of force creates a sense of floating that mirrors deep physical relaxation, where muscles no longer need to hold tension. Deep space does not rush events toward conclusions. Stars form slowly. Galaxies evolve patiently. Change unfolds at a pace so gentle that it feels almost imperceptible. This long view of time can help the listener release short-term worries and settle into a broader sense of calm. The silence of deep space is complete and uninterrupted. There is no background noise and no sudden sound. Even powerful cosmic events unfold in total quiet. This absolute stillness creates one of the most peaceful environments imaginable, offering the mind a rare sense of uninterrupted calm. Deep space allows light, matter, and energy to coexist without conflict. Everything moves along its own path without collision or competition. This harmony reinforces the idea that balance does not require effort, only space and patience. Deep space gently teaches that nothing needs to happen right now. There is no deadline and no demand for attention. The universe continues calmly, regardless of observation. This realization can help the listener let go completely, allowing thoughts to fade and sleep to arrive naturally. Deep space is a place where distance becomes so vast that the idea of separation loses meaning. Between galaxies, the emptiness stretches so far that even light takes millions of years to travel from one faint glow to another. In these regions, nothing crowds anything else. There is no pressure from nearby objects and no urgency created by closeness. Everything exists with room to breathe. This immense openness creates a natural calm, a feeling that nothing is closing in and nothing needs immediate attention, allowing the mind to soften and rest. In deep space, silence is absolute. Not quiet in the way a room can be quiet, but silent in the most complete sense. There is no air to carry sound, no vibration to disturb the stillness. Even the most powerful cosmic events unfold without noise. Explosions bloom in perfect silence. Collisions happen without impact sounds. This total absence of sound creates one of the most peaceful environments imaginable, a silence so deep that the brain no longer feels the need to listen, allowing awareness to gently turn inward. Light travelling through deep space becomes stretched and softened over time. As it journeys across enormous distances, its energy slowly spreads out, becoming less intense and more gentle. By the time this ancient light reaches us, it carries the calm of its long passage through darkness. What we see in the night sky is often light that has travelled peacefully for billions of years, untouched by urgency, arriving softly, like a quiet message from the distant past. The temperature of deep space rests just above absolute zero, the coldest state matter can reach. At this temperature, movement nearly stops. Atoms vibrate so slowly that energy feels suspended. This deep cold creates an environment of profound stillness, where even heat seems to be resting. Imagining such a place can help the body release tension, as if warmth and motion themselves are being invited to slow down and settle. In deep space, gravity becomes gentle and evenly balanced. Far from stars and planets, there is no strong pull in any direction. Objects float freely, neither falling nor rising, simply existing in a state of suspension. This weightless balance mirrors the feeling of deep physical relaxation, where muscles no longer hold the body upright and the sensation of heaviness fades away. Time in deep space flows smoothly without interruption. There are no rapid changes, no sudden cycles of day and night, no seasonal shifts demanding attention. Moments stretch quietly into one another. This steady passage of time can feel deeply soothing, reminding the mind that not every moment needs to be measured or filled, and that rest does not interrupt anything important. Deep space contains the faint echo of the universe's earliest moments, a gentle background energy that fills all directions equally. This ancient radiation is uniform and calm, like a soft cosmic presence that has remained unchanged for billions of years. Its quiet consistency adds to the sense that deep space is stable, patient, and safe, offering reassurance that some things remain calm no matter how much time passes. Objects in deep space move without friction. There is nothing to slow them abruptly or force sudden changes in direction. Motion continues smoothly, often for millions of years. This effortless movement creates a sense of grace, where energy is conserved and nothing feels strained. It reflects a state of ease where movement and rest exist together without conflict. The darkness of deep space is complete but not threatening. It does not press inward or overwhelm. Instead, it creates a soft backdrop that allows light to appear gently rather than harshly. This darkness feels like a deep night sky without edges, a quiet space that invites the mind to rest without needing to stay alert. Deep space reminds us that the universe does not hurry. Its largest transformations unfold over spans of time so long that urgency has no meaning. Nothing is late, nothing is early. Everything happens when it happens. This immense patience offers a calming perspective, allowing the listener to let go of pressure and allow sleep to arrive naturally, without effort or expectation. Deep space holds regions so distant from stars that darkness remains uninterrupted for millions of years. In these places, there is no sunrise and no sunset, only a steady absence of light that never shifts suddenly. This constant darkness feels gentle rather than empty, like a quiet room where the lights have been lowered for rest. Nothing interrupts the stillness, allowing the mind to release the habit of staying alert and simply settle. In the vast openness of deep space, motion becomes nearly invisible. Objects move, but so slowly that their progress can only be measured over enormous spans of time. A cloud of gas might take millions of years to drift a small cosmic distance. This near stillness creates an environment where patience is built into existence itself, offering a powerful sense of calm and permanence. Deep space allows light to travel without interference. There is no dust, no atmosphere, and no friction to scatter it quickly. As a result, light moves gently and steadily, carrying information across the universe without urgency. This long, uninterrupted journey gives light a peaceful quality, as if it has all the time it needs to arrive. In deep space, temperature remains stable for vast stretches. There are no sudden changes or fluctuations. This stability creates a predictable environment where nothing shocks or surprises. For the nervous system, predictability signals safety, making it easier to relax and drift into rest. The emptiness of deep space is not chaotic. It is highly ordered. Distances are consistent. Physical laws remain unchanged. Everything follows the same gentle rules everywhere. This uniformity creates a sense of trust in the environment, where nothing unexpected needs to be anticipated. Deep space is free from vibration. Without matter colliding or air-carrying motion, there is no background hum. Even at the smallest scales, activity is minimal. This absence of vibration creates a sense of complete quiet that allows awareness to soften and thoughts to slow naturally. In deep space, objects rarely collide. The distances between particles are so great that encounters are uncommon. This rarity of interaction creates an environment where nothing presses in and nothing competes. It is a place of peaceful coexistence, where everything has enough space. The vastness of deep space removes the sense of direction. There is no up or down, no left or right, no forward or backward in the usual sense. This loss of orientation can feel freeing, allowing the mind to stop tracking position and simply exist without reference. Deep space has no scent, no texture, no sound. Sensory input fades almost completely. This sensory simplicity mirrors the mental state of deep sleep, where awareness narrows gently and external stimuli disappear. Deep space quietly shows that existence does not require constant activity. The universe remains vast and alive even when almost nothing is happening. This understanding can ease the mind, reminding it that rest does not pause life, it is part of life itself. Deep space is a realm where distance stretches beyond ordinary understanding. Between one galaxy and the next, there are expanses so vast that even travelling at the speed of light would take millions of years to cross them. In these regions, nothing feels close and nothing feels far. Space itself becomes the dominant presence, open and patient. This enormous separation creates a natural calm because nothing presses in, nothing demands attention, and nothing interrupts the quiet unfolding of time. In deep space, the absence of sound is complete and unbroken. There is no air to vibrate and no medium to carry noise. Even the most powerful cosmic events unfold without any audible trace. Stars can collapse and galaxies can collide in perfect silence. This total quiet removes the need for listening, allowing the mind to rest without expectation. It is a silence so deep that it feels gentle rather than empty. Light travelling through deep space follows a long and peaceful journey. With nothing to scatter it quickly, light spreads slowly and evenly as it moves across the universe. Over billions of years, its energy softens and stretches. When this ancient light finally reaches us, it carries the calm of its long passage through darkness. Looking into deep space is like receiving a whisper from the distant past delivered with patience. The temperature of deep space remains close to absolute stillness. At just a few degrees above absolute zero, atomic motion slows almost completely. Heat does not rush or fluctuate. Energy rests. This extreme cold creates one of the quietest physical environments imaginable. where movement itself seems to pause. Imagining this stillness can help the body release tension and settle into deep rest. In deep space, gravity becomes faint and evenly distributed. Far from massive objects, there is no strong pull guiding movement. Objects drift freely, suspended without falling or rising. This balance creates a sensation similar to floating, where weight disappears and effort fades. It mirrors the feeling of the body when muscles fully relax and the sense of heaviness gently dissolves. Time in deep space flows without urgency. There are no rapid cycles of day and night, no seasons, and no sudden changes to mark its passage. Moments unfold smoothly, one blending into the next. This steady rhythm can feel deeply soothing, reminding the mind that nothing needs to be rushed and that rest does not interrupt anything important. Deep space is filled with a faint background energy that has remained unchanged since the early universe. This radiation is evenly spread in every direction, calm and constant. It is like a quiet cosmic presence that surrounds everything equally. This consistency adds to the feeling of stability and safety, as though the universe itself is gently holding everything in balance. Movement in deep space occurs without resistance. There is no friction to slow objects abruptly. Once something begins moving, it can continue for millions of years without effort. This effortless motion creates an impression of grace and ease, where nothing struggles against its surroundings. It reflects a state where movement and rest exist in harmony. The darkness of deep space is complete but soft. It does not press inward or create tension. Instead, it provides a gentle backdrop that allows light to appear calmly rather than sharply. This darkness feels like a deep night without edges, a place where the mind can relax without needing to stay alert. Deep space teaches that the universe does not hurry. Its greatest changes unfold over time scales so vast that urgency has no meaning. Nothing is late and nothing is early. Everything happens when it happens. This immense patience can help the listener release pressure, allowing sleep to arrive naturally without effort or expectation. Deep space contains regions so far from stars that light has never touched them in a meaningful way. These places exist in a permanent twilight, where darkness is not sudden or dramatic but constant and gentle. There is no moment when brightness arrives or leaves. The environment remains steady and unchanged for unimaginable spans of time. This unbroken calm creates a feeling of deep stability, where nothing surprises and nothing interrupts the quiet flow of existence. In deep space, motion often happens without direction. Particles drift without destination, guided only by the faintest influences of gravity and energy. There is no clear beginning or end to their paths. This wandering movement feels peaceful because nothing needs to arrive anywhere specific. The idea of drifting without purpose can help the mind release its need for goals and outcomes and simply rest. Deep space allows energy to spread out until it becomes almost imperceptible. Heat fades, light stretches, and motion slows until everything feels evenly balanced. This gradual softening creates an environment where extremes disappear. There is no sharp cold or intense warmth, only quiet equilibrium. This balance mirrors the state the body naturally seeks during deep rest. In the emptiness of deep space, there is no friction to resist movement. Once an object begins drifting, it continues smoothly, sometimes for millions of years. Nothing pulls it suddenly to a stop. This uninterrupted motion creates a sense of continuity that feels calming, as if nothing is being forced or interrupted. Deep space has no natural rhythm of sound, light, or motion to demand attention. Without cycles to track, awareness can loosen. The mind no longer needs to monitor changes or anticipate transitions. This absence of rhythm allows consciousness to drift freely, much like the state just before falling asleep. The vastness of deep space removes any sense of scale. Without familiar reference points, size becomes irrelevant. Objects can be enormous or tiny without changing how they are experienced. This loss of scale can feel freeing, allowing the mind to let go of comparison and simply exist. Deep space is filled with time rather than events. Large stretches pass without anything notable happening. This quiet patience shows that existence does not require constant activity to be meaningful. This realization can soothe the mind, easing the pressure to stay engaged or productive. In deep space, nothing competes for attention. There are no sudden flashes, no loud signals, and no urgent movement. Everything unfolds slowly and quietly. This lack of competition allows awareness to soften and spread gently, reducing mental strain. Deep space does not hold memory in the way planets and stars do. There are no surface marks, no erosion patterns, and no scars from past events that remain visible. Each moment exists independently. This clean simplicity can help the listener release the past and settle into the present. Deep space quietly reminds us that rest is woven into the structure of the universe. Even the largest system ever known spends most of its time in stillness. By recognizing this, the mind can feel permission to slow down, to soften, and to allow sleep to arrive naturally. As this quiet journey through deep space continues to echo softly in your mind, there is nothing left to follow and nothing left to understand. The universe can remain vast and open without needing your attention. Its slow expansion, its patient distances, and its steady laws will continue whether you observe them or not. You may notice your thoughts becoming lighter now, less defined, like distant points of light fading gently into the background. That is perfectly natural. Just as deep space does not rush toward conclusions, your mind does not need to reach one either. Everything important has already settled. Let your breathing remain unforced and easy. Let your body rest exactly where it is. Imagine yourself floating within that quiet openness, supported not by effort but by the same calm structure that holds galaxies in place. Nothing pulls, nothing pushes, everything simply exists. Deep space reminds us that silence is not empty and stillness is not absence. It is presence without demand, and in that presence the mind is free to soften, to wander, or to rest completely. Thank you for spending this time with the sleepy scientist. Whenever curiosity feels heavy or the world feels loud, you're always welcome to return. The universe will still be here, unfolding gently, just as it always has. For now, allow the quiet to remain. Let the vastness fade into comfort, and let whatever comes next arrive naturally. Good night.